Meaningless, meaningless. Everything is meaningless. That is the opening line of a book that made it into the Bible, not the journal of a skeptic, not a fragment from a pagan philosopher, a canonical book of Scripture. The teacher, Koheleth in Hebrew, looks at the world and says, I have seen everything that is done under the sun, and all of it is hebel, vapor, smoke, a breath that disappears the moment it leaves the mouth. And this book, 12 chapters of relentless, unsparing honesty, was not edited, softened, or removed. It was preserved as sacred text. The way most people encounter Ecclesiastes is through chapter 3. A time for everything. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to weep and a time to laugh. It gets read at funerals, printed on sympathy cards, set to music. And in that context, it sounds gentle, like a reassurance that life has rhythm, that pain and healing both have their season, that everything fits somewhere. But the passage does not end with reassurance. The teacher says, I have seen the burden God has laid on the human race. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. That is not comfort. That is a man saying, the desire to understand is built into us, and the ability to understand is denied to us. The beauty and the frustration exist simultaneously, and neither one cancels the other. The Hebrew word hebel, translated as meaningless or vanity, does not actually mean pointless. It means vapor, breath, something real but ungraspable, a mist that exists for a moment and then is gone. The teacher is not saying life has no value. He is saying life cannot be held. Every achievement evaporates, every pleasure fades, every structure eventually crumbles. And the honest response to that is not denial. It is grief, not the performative kind, the kind that comes from looking at the world clearly and refusing to pretend. The teacher conducted an experiment. He tried wisdom, studied everything, became the most knowledgeable person in the kingdom. Conclusion: more knowledge brings more grief. He tried pleasure, every sensation, every luxury available to a king. Conclusion: it fades. He tried work, building projects, accumulating wealth, creating systems. Conclusion: someone else will inherit it, and they might be a fool. He tried legacy, he tried justice, he tried every form of purpose his world offered, and the verdict, repeated in every chapter: hebel, fleeting, temporary, gone. That experiment, exhaustive, unflinching, is not a failure of faith. It is the most thorough form of honesty the Bible contains. But it is not the end. The last two verses, chapter 12, verses 13 and 14, land differently than everything before them. After 12 chapters of smoke and impermanence and futility, the teacher writes, Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of humanity. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. That is not a Hollywood reversal where the pessimist finds hope. It is something stranger. A man who has looked at everything under the sun and found it vapor, and then, without explaining how, turns his gaze above the sun. Fear God. Not understand God, not explain God. Fear, which in the Hebrew tradition means something closer, to stand in awe of what cannot be comprehended than it does to be afraid. The book does not resolve the tension. It does not say, and then the vapor became permanent. It does not promise that purpose will arrive if the reader waits long enough. It holds both realities at the same time. Life is vapor, and God is real. Both are true. Neither erases the other. And the fact that Scripture allows that, a wise man saying, I found nothing lasting, alongside God exists, both standing side by side without a neat bow, that is one of the most radical permissions the Bible gives. I keep a copy of chapter 1 open sometimes, not as a devotional, but as a counterweight. On days when the pressure to find a lesson in everything is suffocating, when every trial is supposed to produce a testimony and every loss is supposed to have a silver lining, the teacher offers something different, permission to say, I do not see the point of this, and to keep going anyway. Not because the point revealed itself, because the going is what matters when the point is not. There is a particular kind of exhaustion that Ecclesiastes names better than any self-help book or sermon ever has. It is not the exhaustion of doing too much. It is the exhaustion of doing everything right and still not finding what was promised, working hard and watching the reward evaporate, loving deeply and watching the relationship dissolve, praying faithfully and hearing nothing back. The teacher does not fix that feeling. He validates it. He says, I felt it too. I looked everywhere. And what I found was the honest recognition that permanence does not live under the sun. It lives somewhere else, and the somewhere else is not a place. It is a posture. Awe, surrender, the decision to keep showing up in a world that does not guarantee returns. If there has been a season lately where the effort does not match the result, where the work disappears, where the question, what is the point, keeps circling without an answer, this book is not a warning. It is a companion. The teacher walked that road all the way to the end, and the conclusion was not despair. It was awe. Awe in the presence of something too large to explain and too real to dismiss. And that is okay. That might even be better than an answer, because answers close doors, and awe opens them. And next time, how God actually speaks, not through signs or dramatic encounters, through something quieter and harder to recognize.